Alright. This isn't exactly going to plan, but welcome to Vector Thrust. I am the Housecoat podcaster. I am joined
Takeshi.
by 117 Jordan and Takashi Yamato.
And I've been fucking grounded from flying with Ron, unfortunately.
I don't have a controller. I don't have a controller for PC games. I mean, I tried using my PS4 controller once, but I think it's direct linked to my PS4s in such a way that I can't link it to anything else, even with the PS4 turned off. So I'm gonna need something else, and it might take me some time to get it. I don't know. I've got a lot of things. Yeah. I'm basically watching. I've basically resigned myself to watching whenever Ron does a game that needs a controller or a joystick or whatever. There's an idea. Grab a joystick.
You know, the thing that really baffles me is I was able to play this game very briefly, but then ever since then I just could never get it to work again. I don't know why.
Anyway, right now, Ron is flying the F-104G. Official name, the Starfighter. The unofficial nickname is the Missile with a Mammoth. Simply because honestly, look at the frame. Look at that. Look at that frame. It is narrow. It is circular. That thing is designed. Yeah.
That said, it's not exactly. Okay.
Not exactly
bad in the turn either.
Right.
And for some reason it won't come up like a Cold War era aircraft. That's a freaking flanker.
Well. Oh well.
Anywho, the Cold War. The twilight maneuver dogfighting and the dawn of missiles. But not exactly reliable ones.
Yeah.
Now I know Jorn is probably going to say something about the dogfight isn't dead. That said, it is dead as far as primary means go.
Basically, getting into a turn and burn dogfight is the case of somebody's doing something wrong. It's like, well, like I said, I know you don't like this list, Ron, but it's like one of the 70 maxims of maximally effective mercenaries. If you can see the whites of their eyes, somebody's done something wrong. And you have to get into it.
90s onward.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, these days, if you get into a maneuver dogfight, someone's done something wrong. Yeah. Yeah, this game, yeah, different settings have the potential of bringing the dogfight back in one manner or another, but those are just fictional settings. In real life,
I will not deny the necessity for preparing for it,
but if you have to get into one, someone's done something wrong.
and that someone most likely is you. Here's where I have to do this the hard way.
Yeah, but yeah, in point of comparison, using our latest, using our most recently aired at the time of this recording podcast, Star Wars. Star Wars is a setting that is perfect for turn and burn dogfighting.
It's essentially just World War II in space.
Yeah. And that's fine.
Yeah, for some reason, that didn't work out so well.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 60s was essentially the end of the romanticism.
Yeah.
There's no more knights in the sky jousting, trying to kill each other. It became cold, clinical.
Yeah. If World War II if World War II dogfighting was the equivalent of medieval jousting, the early Cold War was the dawn of the sniper rifle. If we're comparing things to ground arsenals. Because missiles in the air have the same purpose as sniper rifles on the ground. The ability to reach out and touch someone without them even knowing you are in range.
Now, to be fair, there was a degree of overconfidence. And I say this for a good reason. Missile technology had not matured enough.
I'm back.
I wondered why you were being so quiet.
Okay, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
We were discussing
We were discussing
immaturity of missile technology as of...
the 60s.
Just look at the AIM-9B Sidewinder. Easily decoyed, often shot towards the sun.
Yeah.
More suited to shooting down unmaneuverable propeller-driven bombers than killing interceptors.
Yeah. But yeah, the Cold War was a transitional period. World War II was the age of the maneuver dogfight, the knights in the sky jousting in the air. And that still can happen in modern day, but it's more a last resort kind of thing these days. If you've gotten into a turn and burn dogfight, somebody's done something wrong. Most likely you.
Now, I know what you're going to say, Jordan. It still has a place. Well, I won't deny that being prepared for it is a necessity. But as the primary means of combat, it is the law.
Keep telling yourself that. Just keep telling yourself that.
Well, maybe, on the other hand, maybe not dead, just dormant. I mean, who knows how technology is going to develop? Something might have. Some sort of super tech might come along that means the best way to fight in the air is, again, dogfighting and jousting. Not saying it's... I'm not saying that's a guarantee, I'm saying that's a possibility. But we don't know how technology is going to develop.
Come on. Now there's a reason I'm using the F4E instead of one of the earlier 50s models. Illustrating the exact stupidity of the United States Air Force.
The early versions didn't have a gun.
Every single version prior to the E model.
And they got their asses wrapped by big 21s.
Yeah.
Which is the case in point as to why dogfighting is not dead. It simply will evolve, that's the thing.
Tell that to wrap the Air Force in the Gulf War.
Yeah, because the only reason we get the only reason there weren't that many dogfights during the Iraq War is because we kept destroying the fighters before they get off the ground.
And the few cases of air-to-air combat, none of them had a single gun kill.
No, it's still a dogfight.
AKA missiles?
Yeah, beyond
Yeah,
visual
I know.
range.
There's a series called Dogfights that talks about it.
The point is, the 60s was a case of they thought the dogfight was effectively dead the moment that missiles like the E-4 Falcon came into service. That said, the technology just wasn't mature enough yet.
Yeah.
You compare the A9B to the A9. Christ, what was the earliest model that was actually all aspect? The LM series? Things that were actually maneuvered.
Yeah. But, yeah, I will mention, viewers, that I don't know too much about aircraft. Mostly I know about stuff via the most fighter stuff that I've done with real world type aircraft in gaming is, well, started in the late 90s, early 2000s with a game called USAF. This was a game by at least partially done by a company called Jane's, who did military almanacs, and it allowed you to play as it allowed you to fly aircraft from the U.S. Air Force. There were a few different ones, and I don't remember the models off the top of my head, though. Well, all of them. Though the F-15, the F-16, the A-10, the F-4, those were all there. I think maybe the F-22 and maybe the Nighthawk. But, yeah. Nighthawk, the 117.
F1117.
Don't get me started on that thing, please.
Right.
This is the one thing I'm going to agree with Ron with. The F1117 was not a fighter. It should have been designated a stealth ground attack aircraft, like the A-10.
Fair enough. Anyway, that was... For a while, that was my only experience flying.
Carrier air missiles.
As I said, that was my first real experience.
Ooh, remember when I mentioned the AIM-4 Falcon? Guess what's under my wings?
Is that the earliest missile?
Yep. The AIM-4 Falcon.
Right.
Swedish.
Right. Right. But yeah, that was my first. That was my first, and for a long time only, experience with with flying real life aircraft. And I used a joystick for that because that was a PC game, and I had a joystick because I had the X-Wing games. But then
I asked myself the question of how this thing was even able to pull off the Cobra.
Yeah. Then I think in the late 2000s, or mid 2000s at least, I picked up Ace Combat 5 for the PlayStation 2. And again, that exposed me to more aircraft, but the arsenals were limited. Basically, every aircraft only had one type of missile and one type of special weapon. Recently, I've picked up Ace Combat 7 for my PlayStation 4. I haven't gotten too far into it.
So no spoilers.
Yeah.
I've played it, but like I'm not gonna spoil it for Take.
Yeah. Yeah, I have. I'm just wondering. I have. That's part of what inspired me to get the game. But
Could somebody look up what the designation for Swedish missiles is? Specifically the RB-24.
right, but you got taken down.
I'm wrong.
Yeah, but yeah.
You're starting to see a whole lot of most 60 designed for speed, interception, not maneuverability.
Yeah.
Because, again,
They didn't expect they would need it. They had their missiles.
they thought warfare was going to be of the nuclear variety. And considering the events, I can't exactly blame them.
Yeah.
How in the name of hell was this thing able to pull off the Cobra?
I don't know. But
And F-40.
yeah, apart from those, my only real exposure to modern aircraft was when I was younger was Micro Machines. So I just had the miniatures, and they usually came with some sort of stat block. They came with some sort of stat block, and with little stat blocks.
I was always interested in aircraft books since I was a kid. Like, I used to have all these different books that had like aircraft dating all the way back from World War II, and I'd read up on it. And always, whenever I go to the Blockbuster, I'd always try to hunt down the. I try to find air flight simulators, and one of my favorites when I was a kid was a game called Secret Weapons Over Normandy. Ever heard of it?
Vaguely, and mainly in context of a video talking about X-Wing.
Yeah, it was made by LucasArts.
Yeah, and the engine for Secret Weapons over Normandy was eventually developed into the engine for the first X-Wing game.
And funny enough, X-Wing were in Secret Weapons over Normandy.
Huh.
Yeah, it was a little Easter egg that you only unlock by using cheat codes, but like if you use it, you unlock X-Wings and TIE Fighters. and you can use them in like the free play mode.
Right. But yeah.
It was a good game. Had a fairly decent story, but I remember having a lot of fun with that thing, especially because this was back in the day when 2-player co-op was a good thing, and like more often than not, I would like invite my brother or one of my other friends, and we just fool around in multiplayer. And one of the big things we would do is we would compete using the one of the multiplayer modes was a B-17 mission, where like you're the dorsal ball gunner, and basically we compete to see who could shoot down the most German planes in that mode.
Yeah, but yeah, like I did play the original X-Wing game. Like I said, the games I mentioned before then were my only experience with real world aircraft. I only got Star Wars X-Wing through a collection, which also gave me Star Wars TIE Fighter, as well as a game called Yoda Stories, and a little demo edition of X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. But I did really well with the X-Wing and TIE Fighter. And yeah, then I eventually got X-Wing Alliance, and oh boy, was that fun! But yeah,
I certainly remember my first Star Wars game was Star Wars Battlefront, the original.
yeah. But yeah, my first, and after that, my first major game. The first major game that I played that wasn't the first major flight game I played that wasn't Star Wars or USAF. In fact, I think USAF came after this because I got this during the N64 days.
Star
Dun 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 dun. Yeah, as Ron said, Star Fox 64. That was another fun one. The Landmaster was alright. The Landmaster tank was alright. The Blue Marine sub was okay. But yeah, the R-Wing was fun. Hope you don't mind this little branch off into flight history. Yeah, fair enough.
But that's mostly due to
the aircraft.
And to a point, the engine. It's not really designed for air-to-air combat.
Right.
In fact, the gun lies.
Right, but
I am,
yeah.
however, going to end this on a bit of a mystery note. There is one aircraft that more or less typified the 60s. A speed demon.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I can't exactly. And unfortunately, it's not in the game, but its ancestor is. Well, its descendant is. Just cover up some of the windows and looks exactly the same.
Stream pause.
Or it will crash. I guess it couldn't handle the MiG-31. I
Ah,
was going to talk about the MiG-25 Foxbat. However, I suppose that's a good place to end it, because the MiG-25 wasn't a fighter. It's just a high-speed interceptor reconnaissance aircraft. Not that anyone knew that until 1976. But that's a good place to pause, because we've gotten through the first half of the Cold War.
now it's time
The next
for the
half
second.
can be the next time can be the second half. And perhaps Zorn will be actually able to join me.
Working on that right now.